So, my name is Malcolm Hilarion. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to take you guys through a little bit of my creative process so that you can see how I come up with some of the things that I've come up with or some of the things that I've made before and just how I got to those conclusions. So, first things first is this thing. So I'll just be doing whatever, chilling, especially when I'm chilling. And I'll get like a random idea will pop in my head, or like a song lyric will just be like, boom, there you go, that's your next project. And it happens pretty often. So yeah, I might take like 9.5 years on a project, but I mean, it'll come from any number of different things, whether it's something I'm listening to, how I'm feeling, or somebody saying something to me that like really resonates, or just me watching something like an anime or something like that, because I'm super into anime and all that weeb stuff. So yeah, stuff like that. Next, it goes one of two places. It goes into the big book or the little book. This one I've been drawing in a lot more and for a lot longer, because I've had this one longer, and this one I actually had like an art class for, so I had to use this for class and not run out of pages. But since I finished that class, got B in it real quick, first art class in college, first art class since freshman year of high school too. So now there's just empty pages in it, just kind of throwing stuff down. So is my Rock Lee in the 8 gates. It was pretty, it's kind of trash because the proportions were off, but I got the color match right. And yeah, it was that. I normally paint in this one, and I painted on this as part of my final assignment. And for this one, it was a little bit different. I've had this since last summer, so it's been almost a year drawing in this. And there's just like, back then it was more like collage-y stuff that I was working on, like just stuff that I could easily just turn into clothing or whatever. So it's a little bit more all over the place, because I wanted to make sure I filled the page with as many aspects of the piece possible. So like this one, I actually made it into a hat and sold this one. So this one was pretty successful. So yeah, a lot of mine are very conceptual back then, but now they're getting a little bit more hyper-realistic, or not hyper-realistic, but more realistic and grounded in like a character rather than an idea. So yeah, and one thing that will never, ever, ever, ever kind of deviate from me is this blue rose thing. So growing up, my relationship with my mom was it was actually really nice. Like, we always were around each other. It was more so my dad that was like always at work, so when I would come home from school, it'd be my mom that would be there. But yeah, we had this thing where me and her would go out, and we had these massive rose bushes, and we would go out into the front yard, and I would garden with her when my dad was at work and all that stuff. So like, roses was just an association of my childhood that reminded me of like my mom and stuff like that. But yeah, as like depression hit, I kind of clung to something that was familiar but not quite the same. So the point of it is that the rose is blue and it's Melrose, because the rose is melancholy and the rose would be me, and you know, the whole depression thing kind of factored into that, and that's why it's blue, you know, melancholy, sadness, classic color association. So Melrose is always kind of going to come back, and as such, I've made many pieces with it, and it's kind of always going to be something that I'll fall back on, because Melrose, the logo is one thing, but the name behind it and all the other things that I associate with it is very different. So back in junior year, I wrote an entire like love story about this situation that I was in, and it was not a very well ending situation, so the story didn't end very well. It was kind of allegorical. So yeah, and I titled it Melrose, along the lines of the same melancholy rose thing, and that's kind of where that came from. And the person I wrote the story allegorically about, I'm still not on the greatest of terms with. So yeah, next thing. So from there, it normally goes straight onto the piece. And trust me, I've had a lot of failed pieces. This one is kind of half and half failed because when I painted on it the first time, I didn't use the right materials, so as you can see, it's crunchy and hard, but it's kind of flexible, but not flexible enough for you to wear it comfortably. So I'm gonna try and fix this and send this off because one of my family members was really interested in what I'm doing. So she was like, hey, can you make me one? I was like, sure. But this graphic is a remake of my graduation cap, which I will throw a picture of in like 2 seconds. But yeah, it was my graduation cap, and the cap read, wake up sunny, the stars are calling. So it went wake up sunny, and then the stars are calling. And yeah, that's the sun and earth, very cartoonly drawn. It's a little bit of stars and a sunset on the top. And this was my actual graduation cap from high school. This was how I did it. So yeah, that's a little bit more of the creative process when it gets to here, but in some special cases, it takes a little bit more or less. So in one of my more favored pieces was this. It was a painting of the late XXXTentacion, and I did this the week after he died. Me and my friends were out, so I was like, hey, let's stop and get a canvas. Or stop in Walmart, and I grabbed this really small canvas, and I was just looking up like different art styles of people drawing him. This was before he died, and I came across one that was really cartoony, so I did my rendition of it, and I got as close as I could with all of his facial tattoos, because there was quite a bit of them. Some of them I just don't have on there because I didn't know he had them, like Remember to Remember and the stopwatch on this side and all that stuff. So like there was stuff that's left out, but I definitely tried my best to include as many things. And then the hair was kind of a throwback to his different hairstyles. So the gray dreads when he cut his eyebrows off, the half and half, and then before he died it was blue. So that's kind of all the things. And then at the bottom it reads, what is real will prosper. But I mean, I ran out of room to say prosper, so it's kind of mushed, but you get my point. It was last year, so since then I think I've gotten significantly better. And surprisingly, this held up because this was in my backpack for like 3 or 4 months while I was in college. And if anybody has been in college, you know people just don't respect backpacks in the slightest. People be eating your backpacks across the room with no care in the world for your laptop in the slightest. So bam. And then one of my more recent things was this pair of pants, which I recently got into Lil Peep, and I figured this was the best medium that I had with me. A little dusty. I think it's because of where I had them hung up on that the door over there. But yeah, so I kind of did this space agey font, and it reads Star Shopping down one leg, and then horizontally Lil Peep on the other leg. Oh my gosh, why is it so hard to hold this up? Yeah, it reads Lil Peep horizontally on the other leg in a very bubbly font. And yeah, he's quickly become one of my favorite people to like take inspiration from, and just some of the things that he not necessarily stood for, but some of the things that he did, the choices he made to get successful. Not necessarily like bad ones or like crazy ones, just like the will to, okay, I might have to miss out on a few people's social events, but in the long run it's gonna help because I'm gonna be famous and I'm gonna be rich and I'm gonna get out of this piece of crap suburb that he lived in, which was somewhere in New Jersey. Probably pretty crappy. So yeah, that was a little bit of the process. Some of the stuff that I use, mainly a lot of I wouldn't say super expensive stuff, but just like assorted pack of brushes for different lengths and stuff. The smaller ones obviously for like details and stuff, but yeah, this was like $5, I think. This custom paint can, it wasn't really custom, but it was from my stepmom. She got it at like some expo, but if I can get the freaking thing open, yeah, it's pretty cool because it's small enough to just fit in a backpack. But when you open it, if I can get the thing open right quick, hold on. There we go. got the lid open. But when you open it, you can store like the 99-cent tubes of paint, and this is normally what I paint with. And I have them arranged in color order, and then I had some Mod Podge in there for sealing, but yeah, color order: blue, purple, green, yellow, orange, red, you know, standard stuff. And then every good painter needs a water cup, and this one's been battle damaged by all the different paint mixtures. You can actually see, where is it? There's a spot of pink from where I did a mix. I custom mixed a pink for not only the front of this, which it's a little blasted out, but yeah, the front of this I mixed a custom pink for. And then there was another custom pink I mixed for one of my favorite newly created anime characters, Kaz Khan from Yokio, which if the sun doesn't blast it out, he's got pink hair and purple pupils, which I find really weird, but I don't know. Yeah, and then my best friend right here, my best friend got me this. I'm so glad she got me this. Gag 900. If you want to paint old fabrics and don't want to actually buy fabric paint, use this. It's fabric paint medium, thins the paint out. It'll take a couple more coats, but you can put richer saturated colors on fabrics, not have them turn out this stiff, and yeah, it helps with the longevity of the paint on there instead of using like fabric paint, which probably is a smarter idea, but I really don't feel like paying the extra money to make sure that it's already mixed together when I can custom mix how much of this I want to use so that I can get bright whites like this without it taking 9.5 years to do all the coats. And that's not the only stuff. I have a few other things that I've done. So I have this backpack which has seen better days, but it says a dragon has entered because, you know, Chinese zodiac years. I was born in 2000, year of the dragon. Shout out to our dragons out there. And then I threw some red lettering down the side of my logo, or one of my logos, and then obviously Enter the Dragon, a reference to the Bruce Lee movie, has the scratches from the movie with they're replicating the scratches that were across his chest. And then I tried my best to replicate some kanji, but on the side it's the kanji for the Azure dragon, which is a sign of good luck, and he was a dragon that was, guess what, my favorite color, blue. So that's just a little bit of what I've been doing, and yeah, I feel better because I'm more animated. That's how you can tell, by the way. But yeah, comment if you want to learn about my hair, because I feel like whoever's been watching these videos, if you're new, A, subscribe, B, people that watch my videos probably want to know about my hair and how long it took to grow, the decorations and metal in it and all that stuff, so, and other things, and just, you know, more stuff about me besides the art. So yeah, comment down below if you want to see stuff like that, and I will catch y'all in my next video, hopefully soon. I don't know what it's going to be about, but we're in this together. Bye.